Kicks 105.5 WKXH. Good morning, I'm JJ. It is Wednesday, August 24th at 7:49 and 67 degrees outside. A little bit of rain, but it's supposed to be clearing up. But that's not what I want to talk about right now. Right now, we're going to talk with Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How are you?
I am dry.
You are dry.
I'm inside.
Yeah, are you better than all those youngsters going back to school today?
Are they going back to school?
Yeah, so I think the Academy and LI started earlier in the week. I know Academy did because I drove by. I believe LI might have. And then I know my son, and my Facebook page is flooded with first day of school photos, so I assume many are. But yeah, my son's heading to third grade today. So all the kiddos going back to school, have a great day, have a great year, and get out of the house. Your moms are happy. Just kidding.
And if mom's happy, dad's happy.
Yeah, we had the Waterford School. We had like an orientation type of thing, or like a welcome back event the other night. And I said, "Can we just leave them now? Is it okay if we just leave them? Is that allowed? No, okay." So
we got sleeping bags in the back of the truck.
You know, I for me, it's still, I'm 47 and it's still somewhat traumatic. You know, summer's over, kids are back in school. I still feel that down feeling, like, oh my goodness, you know, my son's happy as a lark to go back to school, and I'm like, man, you are not my son. I was like bummed on those days. But all the kiddos have a great day. Be awesome. So
yeah, absolutely.
So this morning, I thought what we'd talk about is, you know, we've talked a little bit recently about the flood insurance that's available. The different markets and options that are available, and why it's important. I wanted to kind of, and the reason we're doing that is it's pretty timely in terms of all the events that have been going on with flooding. You know, over the weekend, it was the Dallas-Fort Worth area that got inundated. They got like a summer's worth of rain in, 24 hours, I believe, which is pretty incredible. So the weather obviously can do what it wants to do, and that's one of the reasons why insurance is a good thing to have. So for your homeowner policy this morning, I wanted to talk about exclusions that are on all the policies that you really should know about. And one of the first exclusions that comes to mind is flood. Flood is not a covered peril on a homeowner policy, and that is exactly why there are flood insurance policies available, either through the National Flood Insurance Program or through private flood insurance companies that are out there as well. Flood can happen. You know, a lot of people just assume, I'm not near a stream, I'm not near a river, I'm good. Well, if you saw some of the video footage over the weekend, those were some downtown properties in Texas that probably didn't have any body of water near them, but they became a body of water. So it's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing to think about flood insurance being a possibility for you. If you're not in a high-risk flood zone, it can be very inexpensive and probably not a bad thing to have so that you're not caught off guard. But what's another peril that's not covered on a homeowner policy? How about, let's stay with the water, and let's talk about groundwater seepage. All right? So you get a rain event just like Texas had, and so we have that, and you've got a basement that now becomes full of water.
A swimming pool
that I remember one time I debated whether I should get the wet dry vac or just call Fish and Game and have them stock the darn thing, because it'd be probably more fun with the latter. But that's not covered either. You know, groundwater seepage is not a covered loss on a homeowner policy. Now, you can do some things that could probably help you out, right? So if you have a basement that's kind of known for having water issues, and you have a sump pump and the sump pump fails, if you have, and this is an optional coverage, backup of sewers and drains coverage, you may have up to a certain limit of coverage to help recover your damages and loss. So that's something that you should have a conversation about for sure. You know, there's been times where I've had a sump pump that has died, and as a result, led to more water in the basement. Thankfully, I had everything high and dry, so it wasn't a loss for me, but it could have been if I wasn't prepared. So that's something to think about. What's another really big type of event that's not covered on a homeowner policy? Earthquake. Earthquake is not automatically covered.
Really?
Really. Earthquake is something that you can buy as an optional. This is different from flood, where on an earthquake type of loss, you can buy earthquake coverage with most insurance companies and add it as additional coverage on your homeowner policy. Now, let's say you have a $500 or $1,000 deductible on the homeowner policy. The earthquake deductible is usually a percentage deductible. All right, so 1 or 2% or 3% deductible versus a flat dollar amount. But yeah, if you don't have earthquake coverage showing on the policy declarations as coverage you have elected to add, you do not have earthquake coverage. Now, many people around here don't think we need earthquake coverage, so many people don't go with it. And that's pretty understandable, right? But I have earthquake coverage, and my wife thinks I'm crazy. Now, mind you, both my wife and I are insurance agents. I have earthquake coverage because I feel like we have to practice what I preach, and my wife believes it. She's like, yeah, that makes sense, but man, do we really need earthquake coverage? It's something that's, you'd rather be safe than sorry. So I think the greatest thing you could do is see what earthquake coverage may cost for you and see if it's worth adding that particular coverage. Could be $100, could be less for the year. So something to think about. But there are things that can be excluded on a homeowner policy that you can find ways to provide or make up for. You can either buy back the coverage by adding an earthquake endorsement. For personal property, you can have some limitations that you could probably find a way to get more coverage on, like special form coverage on personal property is an option with many companies. So just have a dialogue of what your expectations and your thoughts are, and see if your policy is meeting your expectations, because otherwise you'll be surprised if you have a claim that you filed that you find out is just not covered.
So another thing that doesn't happen up this neck of the woods very often is tornadoes. But every once in a while,
Yes.
New Hampshire got hit with one not too long ago that did some damage.
I still think Route 18 in Waterford got hit by at least a heck of a downspout. So, yeah, tornadoes or hurricane, right? Think of those. The hurricanes can happen here. For us, fortunately, those are just wind, right? So some companies have to modify the definition of wind in those prone areas to make sure that they're covering it the way that they want to, so that the company can afford to pay out the claims if there is one. But up here, fortunately for us, wind is wind. So whether it's a tornado or a hurricane, it's still a wind event, and that's a covered peril on your homeowner policy.
Oh,
thankfully.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Well, I'm a renter, so...
And it's a covered
wouldn't know
peril
that.
on our renter's policy, too, just so you know.
So if you have renter's insurance...
and a tornado comes through and you lose all your personal belongings and you lose the roof over your head, your renter's policy should have loss of use coverage to help put you up temporarily elsewhere until you figure out what you're going to do.
Ooh.
Yeah. A lot of good reasons to have that.
I did not know that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I learn something every week with you.
That's what I try. Can't guarantee, but I do try.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you and ask more questions about insurance or maybe making an appointment or something, how do they get a hold of you?
So simple. Just give us a call, 748-5224. We're right on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency. And side note, Caledonia County Fair starting today. How exciting is that? We're proud to be we're not a big sponsor, but we're a small sponsor of the fair, and we're honored to do so. So hopefully everyone can make some time and go support the local fair.
Are you going to be there? Are you going to have a booth or anything?
No booth, but we are going to be there with a rambunctious 8-year-old who wants to hit every ride and eat a lot of fried dough. And a dad who wants to go grab some Robolards. Apple Crisp. So
Apple Crisp.
Apple Crisp.
I'm heading to the sausage vendor.
Well, I got to have dinner first, so I probably will go there and then have my dessert. So looking forward to it, though. Should be a great time. And hopefully good weather, too. So
Yeah, and it's going to be really good weather, especially for the weekend. Get a little bit of rain here and there over the next couple of days, but then it's going to clear up, and it should be a really, really nice weekend.
The good news, that'll keep the dust down. How's that? That'll keep the dust down.
Well, the Derby.
There you go.
Think about Derby. All right, thanks, Mike, for coming in, and we'll talk with you again next week. Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency on Kicks 105.5.